Okay, so I've dropped the claims down for the fourth turn. It's a winter turn, so nobody can build track in the snow at all. Purple, continuing down towards Grand Junction and drawing from the deck. A lot of people drawing from the deck, they don't like what's sitting out there. Now, when you draw from the deck, there's a chance of bad things happening. But one of the things that can happen is you could clear the entire pile of claims that are out there, which would be bad for, say, yellow, who had Pinos Altos and another one out there that is, well, Mogollon, that's, down in his playground, basically, although white's coming close to his playground now. We see them moving to build this Santa Fe El Paso type connection. That's not quite going to happen. It's the El Paso to Albuquerque that's sitting around there. Blue grabbed, where is it? Alamo Coal Mine, which is right down here. Nobody else wanted to play in that. Kind of odd, but he's got the +1 prospector. Makes it unlikely for anyone to beat him. So red picked up they're picking up their passenger route to Boulder, minor route, almost not worth having. And Silverton green is pulling from the deck as well. And let's see, white. Who's number 5? Red was number 5. White, yellow is number 6. They've got that Pinos Altos, which they're picking up. And it's a little far, but there's good money there. White was having real trouble. There's a lot of stuff kind of near them, but none of it on their main line coming down. There's riches down here they'd like to grab. They've got a problem with their white oaks and what is the other thing they own? Elizabethtown. Up here. Elizabethtown, not so much. They can just strike right up there on their way to the Pueblo, Denver type thing. And we notice green and red are seizing the tracks. There's not going to be anything coming out of Pueblo, which makes the connection to Denver hard. You can negotiate split routes. That's kind of an advanced rule that I don't know if I mentioned, or an optional or something. I don't know if I went over the optionals. Yeah, I did. Joint passenger runs. It allows you to, both people pay cost proportional to the track they have, and they split the money that they make off the passenger run evenly. It's a weird situation, but it allows in a lot of players for these big passenger runs to actually come out. Otherwise, they may not come out at all. Which could also be an interesting game where you're trying to prevent a passenger route so your better one, or the one that you can keep, doesn't go away. In terms of the ones that get wiped out by these other cards. Okay, and let's see, what else do we have? I think that's about it. And well, nobody sold anything, so prices overall are rising. Gold still went down, but we saw silver shoot back up to the 200 starting position. The people with loads of silver probably still want to see it go up a little more. Only one person's cashed in though, and since nobody's selling, money's getting a little tight. Players brought out a Leadville silver mine, Heber City silver mine. These are of interest. Actually, the Salt Lake City guy got the Leadville and the Heber City. I don't remember. I think that was a southern guy. But, sort of not really speculating. There's an interesting possibility, which is buying sites that aren't near you, especially when you draw them from the deck, because you can sell them. You can sell them to other players. They have an intrinsic worth, and you probably actually do want to pick them up. And it's kind of odd that people haven't done that. It's something that you catch on to as the game progresses, and I'm immediately kind of slapping my forehead and saying, whoa, these guys should have, if they were on top of their game. It's kind of surprising, but stuff has a value, and you might as well get something and see what you can get out of it, because you can probably make money off most of these. Of course, if you buy a mine, roll it once and deplete it, well, then it doesn't have a value. It just costs you money. We flip this over, which is El Paso to Santa Fe. That's making the yellow and white lines more interesting. And other than that, we're on to turn 5. It's springtime, the IDE's down, and we got new trains and more powerful snowplows available. A couple of people were holding off to buy this 24 train, in particular Blue with their 1-9 train and a big load of silver over on, or green, I'm sorry, and a big load of silver on Aspen. But also some of these people like Yellow with the Magdalena coal mine, they know they're going to want to start pumping a lot of product out of that. Alright, okay, players grab their picks. Only White's drawing off the deck this time. Didn't want to compete in Mogollon with Yellow. It's far away. Thinks there's a better chance off the deck. Big competition for the Leadville though. Green had to go first. They dropped in there, but they should have known, and they may not be opposed. Blue and Red each have a +1 bonus, so they've got a chance of getting a better prospector this way. Well, they've got a chance of getting a better chance of getting it. Anyone who wins this is going to get a better prospector because I don't remember. Let me look up how it works, but I think you may have to beat someone as good as you. When you get that advancement. There it is, advancement. Nope, you go up no matter what. So, that would always be the case. We see Green extending their track towards Leadville. They've made it up into Dillon once they get this. Blue shooting down to grab the Alamo track. Now this was kind of weird because now Red has jumped in and has the second track. Like this is the all-weather track to Leadville. It means Green's not, if they get their passenger route and they have the best track, it only costs 20. The next best is like 24 through here. This one is a bit higher at 11, 15, 21, 24, 27. So there'd be a +3 bonus to competing for Green to take that Leadville track, but they can't compete at all in the winter. So whoever gets kind of the best track that's all-weather has a shot of, well, that's not true. Green can compete if they have snowplows. But whoever gets the all-weather track could take it away every winter. Now that's an expensive proposition for both players. Because, for example, this one costs $500 to take and only makes $260 a turn. So if you take it in a winter turn, okay, you lose half that cash. You might still win. You're at a huge penalty, but you might still win if the other player tries to take it back the next turn. Of course, if they don't, you come out ahead, no matter what. But we're assuming they'll have the money to be able to do it. But if they're running short on cash, you may have a chance to hold it against them and produce a lot more income than they can. All right, well, we're on to that big competition. And Blue, the least poised to actually use Leadville because they're heading more southward, ended up winning it. They're going to have to work their way there. They're not that far. I mean, they're in the same position as Red, really. But they may need to get another surveyor so that they can expand in both directions. Of course, that mine may die on the first shot. It's got a 7 failure number. So that's kind of cool. But they have a higher level prospector now. And now we'll just do the operations. Well, let's point out how quickly the money's gone. Green had to pick up that 24 train so they can haul that silver. They're down to $320. They barely have enough to get themselves to Leadville. They can't make it to Aspen. They've got a problem. I don't think they can buy that train. They're going to have to haul a little bit of silver at a time. They can't do anything. I don't know why that's there. So they're going to take that $200 back. But like I said, this can be a game where you could actually run out of money and be in a lot of trouble. I'm not sure why this ended up here. Was there a Leadville depletion? No. Accidentally come with the snowplow. Anyway, they're going to have to haul something like 1 or 2 silver, as it is, back on their first run to get enough cash to operate, etc. They really can't do much of anything at this point. And that's a painful situation to be in. Now, imagine if they didn't have 11 silver on Aspen. Imagine if that had depleted on the first run. Well, they'd have more money because they ran it a few times. But they're buying some expensive track. It's good track, but it does put them right on the edge. And I'm used to being in that position. I'm usually, in games that I play, I favor this route, and a lot of people don't because of its high startup costs. But I know how good it can be in the long run. Going to the second player, Purple, he had an interesting choice. He's got this Heber City mine he just bought. It's hooked up. He could haul goods from Heber City and try to depress that silver value. Now, he's not going to be able to keep it down forever. But if he can get it, if he can keep it from breaking 200, well, he's probably keeping this guy out of the game entirely. And some of these others with significant silver holdings from being able to really take advantage of some of their capital. They'll either have to dump silver at a low price or else have to wait things out and really play it on an austerity budget. This guy's got a couple $1,000s in the bank right now and can really kind of play with the markets to favor his own situation. One player who probably won't be starved out of those northeastern Colorado players is our blue player because of the Alamo coal mine. He just got that hooked up and delivered 3 coal to Denver, or 4 coal to Denver. He can get 4 because he's got 24 points worth of train. You don't have to divide it, you don't have to specify for each train what they're carrying. You can clump them together and give them points together. Going over a 6, well, 6 goes into 24 4 times, so he can haul 4 coal. He did exactly that, left 1 behind. The price is good at Denver. However, I cheated. I gave him 6 coal's value. With 4 coal, he makes $480. So he's got a constant stream that should keep him, you know, as long as this mine doesn't die, should keep him in fair condition. He might not sell every turn, but he's got 2 markets. He's got the Pueblo market as a backup. It's not doing very well right now, but both of them will be boosted pretty soon. Train purchase for yellow is also kind of painful. They've got a lot of train power now. They've got a source that they can dump off. They actually dropped 1 off in El Paso for $100. They pretty much have to use this. Unfortunately, they're down to $55. They're not going to have the money to expand any further, really. They can't even run all their mines. They could, of course, buy 1 piece of track coming here for 40, but that's probably the extent of what they're going to do on this next turn, and they're going to cut all their mines back. Poor workers. And then we worked around the rest of the turns, and Red ended up rolling on their Leadville mine, depleting it, and that's the first of the 4 Leadville depletions allowed for that Denver to Leadville route. That route dies. It's a very, very good payoff, but once enough Leadville cards are out, it crashes. Now, I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 2 more cards coming out. One thing, we got the first player producing lumber. Lumber's usually an interesting commodity. Right now it hasn't really been peaking at high values, but eventually it tends to be the richer coal, but it needs that IDN number to keep it in business, and if a lot of people have lumber, the market really crashes. He's not going to hook it up yet, but like with the gold, these are really money that he's banking at this point. Alright, I got to roll the commodities and then I'm done. This one's going up. Well, the IDN number's at 2 now. I'm moving it forward to the next turn, but that is definitely having some effect. Not so much on this. Copper just got very lucky. It's at 400. People are going to hook that up now. But the silver's starting to rise. Some of the lumber is moving upward. Coal, though, Denver definitely got depressed by that 4 in it. Now, unlike some of the others, you divide the quantity of coal sold in Denver and Salt Lake City by 2. which means that selling has less effect there. The other thing to worry about, if I didn't mention this, there's this sales limit. Lumber and coal, you can't sell as much as you can deliver. You can only sell certain amounts to certain markets. Gold, silver, and copper, you can sell as much as you like anywhere. So that's why they're the big game changers. You can dump them all at once. But with coal and lumber, if you're a heavy producer, you really can't play the market. You just got to keep pushing it through. Or else, if you have other things that you can play with, you can cut your production in order to get better profits. Anyway, now this one's actually going up.